That kite seems to sit a little deeper in the window, so it always pulls really well. You may find that it doesn't go upwind quite as well, but boy, it'll pull. It will pull. I don't know. It turns well enough. Make sure you've got your edge really edging against the kite when you go to turn it, and it'll come around real quick.
The Epic just flew different than other kites I've flown. That's all I can say for it. I had trouble, you know, it's supposed to be a fast turning kite. I just had trouble with the coordination with it. Probably just requires getting used to it. I did like the kite. It's not my thing. I thought it pulled fairly well. I don't think it pulled as well as other kites out here, but I had real trouble getting upwind, and just didn't like the kite.
Okay, the Epic, pretty nice strong pull. The bar, pretty cool. Kind of nice kind of innovative idea with rotating the finger grips a little forward. That was interesting. I've never seen that before. Over the long term, I don't know if I would like that or hate it. I don't know which one of the two, but I was kind of thinking outside the box. Straps for the depower and for repowering, for me it was pretty easy to get a hold of. I did feel like the kite for me was a little hard to get dialed in. I felt like I was either nicely powered or not powered at all. It seemed like it wanted to stall a little bit on me, so that was kind of my call on that.
The Epic is just, I don't know, it's just a different kite. Really, I don't think anybody really got it dialed in, including myself. It just wanted to pull me downwind. And I don't know if because it had lack of power or because it sat so far in the window. I'm not sure. That's the only kite today that I could not hold my ground on.
About it.
The Epic today, I didn't think it was quite as lofty. It's got a little bit of bar pressure, a little bit more bar pressure than what I'm used to. It was when it was really light wind, 8, 10, it didn't seem like it wanted to go upwind very easy, but once it come on a little bit, you know, 11, 12, then it was real easy to take upwind. I thought the jumping on it was pretty nice. It was a pretty lofty kite. I ride the turbine, so as far as, that's what I compare it to as far as the grunt of it, I guess. The turbine has a little more grunt, has a little more pull.
Hey everybody, this is Kurt and Roger, and we really felt that doing this review, we wanted to sit down and have kind of a talk about the kite. Honestly, this has been one of the hardest kites that I've had to review. It's just because it's such a different kite. So first off, I'm going to start with talking about the bar. The bar I had so many issues with. We had quality control issues with. First off, when we got it, one of the lines on the steering lines was longer than the other. Then we sent it off to Dimitri to make sure there was nothing else wrong with the kite. Got it back, ran it out again, and then the center lines were actually stretched out, or the depower line is stretched out. So the kite was really hard to get in tune. So I found that to be kind of a problem. Now, given the kite does fly very well, so it actually, even with an out-of-tune bar, it flew pretty good. I'll give it to that, because we still flew it at the end with the out-of-tune bar. Still flew pretty decent. So the bar I had a lot of issues with. The big handles on the bar kind of made my arms wear out pretty quick, and the bar pressure on it was a little high too. What do you think about that?
Yeah, for me it was definitely noticeable. Again, as I said in a previous comments review on the kite, just listening to some things, I thought it was actually pretty innovative that Epic has put the little kind of finger grooves in the top of the bar, and it's actually rotated just a little bit forward. Never seen anybody do anything like that, so it's kind of cool that they're kind of thinking outside the box. I'm not certain if it's, now the bar tapers is thick towards the middle and it tapers a little as you go out. I don't know if it was the the positioning of the finger grips, which are slightly turned this way, or it was just the diameter there. But it seemed like it kind of made my arms, little forearms, kind of burn a little bit after a while, which is it doesn't really ever happen. So I'm not sure exactly what may have been the main culprit. It may have been the diameter. I'm not sure, but either way, the straps and stuff were pretty easy for me for the D-Power. Were pretty easy for me to get to, but I got longish arms. So
they were harder for me to reach. I had to stretch out for them, especially when the kite was a little overpowered. The chicken loop's a little bigger than an average chicken loop, so that once again that makes the bar go out a little bit further. If the chicken loop was a little smaller, I don't think it would have been much of a problem there. So that was the bar. So we didn't really care for the bar, especially the quality control issues. Getting to the kite, now this was weird because I had 3 days on this kite. The first day was the big light wind test day where it was lighter winds. And as you saw the reviews a little while ago, that nobody liked the kite in lighter winds. It seemed just to pull down wind. Then I took it out again in another light wind day without a current. I took it out in the bay. And the same thing is, it's very weird because I was on an average size board. I was on a 144 by 41 board. But I could not get that kite to go upwind. I couldn't even hold my line on that kite. And I was able to, because I had the flight out to compare it to, and I was able to do that on the flight. So I was, once again, the same kind of aspect. Then we went out the other day, and you went out on it first. I'll let you talk about it, which the wind was blowing around 10, 11 knots. Go ahead and tell them.
Yeah, and it was, I actually had a pretty good time flying the kite. You could feel that the kite was had good kind of solid power, and just standing on the beach, I could already tell. Now, previously, when I was looping this kite in our first test that we did, the kite seemed like it wanted to stall out before it could complete the turn, which is why when Dimitri received the kite back, that the bar was sheeted in all the way. I was aware that that would be riding like that would be riding with a handbrake on. So what I was doing was trying to keep the kite from stalling out during the loops because I felt like maybe it was oversheeted. Yesterday when I did it, full power, looped the kite, it turned better. So I don't know if that was, I don't know what the reasoning behind that is, but I definitely could tell it performed a little better there. Got the kite on the water, pulled well right out, as soon as I got it turning, got it going. Seems like it's a little slower turning, than maybe the Flight or the Core XR319, but it was pretty right in the same category probably with the turbine as far as turning speed went.
Yeah. But
I thought it pulled me pretty well. Now I didn't have an issue with I went upwind fine on it. I was riding a 165 Cabrina Stylus. Of course, I'm a 230-pound guy, so I wanted a little bit more bore.
Now talking about that, because like I said, the super light wind, I was not able to get upwind. But the other day when I went out, because I took it out right after you had to go back to the shop, in the lighter winds, which was about 10 knots, I was actually able to hold my line and stay upwind a little bit on it, which I wasn't able to do in the super light winds. Then the wind kind of kicked up another little notch, came up to about 11.5 knots, and I was just ripping upwind. So it was like it was a completely different kite once the wind filled in. And my idea and aspect on this is that this kite likes to fly in the power zone, very, very much in front of you.
Yeah.
And when the wind is super light, that's where it's got its power at. So it's going to sit in front of you and it's going to pull you downwind in the super light winds. As the wind picks up, the kite then starts to fly further and further out of the edge of the window, and you're able to get upwind on it. Because the first day that we flew it, now nobody was staying upwind very consistently because of the current, but when you got on that Epic, you were flying downwind.
Yeah.
Everybody was, and that was the only kite that I could not stay upwind that day. Every other kite, even with the current, I was able to hold my ground except on the Epic. So I wouldn't characterize the Epic as a light wind kite, just because when you get the super light winds, it just wants to pull you downwind. Now, if you have a surfboard or something with big fins, that might counteract. You might be able to hold your ground a little bit better. But as far as twin tip and super light wind riding, I wouldn't recommend it. But when the wind picks up, I think it's a much better kite. Definitely better than what we saw the first day. Still, I was a little uncomfortable with it, with the power, because all of a sudden it went from being just right to when that extra knot came in, I was actually a little overpowered. So it's definitely got a window that the kite works in.
And I agree with that. that was one of the things that I noticed the first time that I flew this kite, where I was out in a little bit stronger winds on all the kites, kind of inadvertently getting to see kind of what the upper wind range on these kites might be, and the Infinity was the only one during that test that actually made me a little, I don't want to say terrified, but I certainly felt like the ability to get out of control in that kite was there. It doesn't seem like it has as easy an ability to push it out of the window, or you know, it's like the range is a little narrower on that. So that's the only concern that I had on that. Now I'll say yesterday, riding it, I liked the jumping on it was pretty good.
You were a little loftier. You were a little loftier on that than you were the flight.
Yeah, Kurt had a chance to see me riding both of them at the same time. Well, not same time, but riding both of them back to back while he was on the beach watching it. I could definitely tell getting a little floatier hang time than what I was getting on the flight.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, but it was definitely a little. I would compare it a little bit to the Contra's got a little bit more of a loftier jump.
Yeah, I definitely felt it very. I said that even when I came in. I felt like the Infinity felt like a little bit like the kind of maybe the Contra or maybe the Turbine. It definitely is a kind of mix of those two.
And when I went out, like I said, I was flying the flight also in that back-to-back. I went to my staple move, which is a front roll, something I can pull very easily and very comfortable with. I was able to do it on the flight very easily and felt really nice in my landings. The Epic, once again, I could pull it around, but when I landed, that kite once again wants to pull so much, to get my ground and get my edge back in and not feel out of control. I was a little bit more timid on the Epic. So I think there are better kites out there, but the Epic is a good kite and get it in its wind range where it's meant to fly.
Yeah, I agree. And there were some other things I'd like to just touch on that I thought were worth mentioning. Again, I think that I liked to see the fact that Dimitri and his guys at Epic were thinking outside the box with the bar design, because I just haven't seen anybody else doing that. And I think that's the way that we get better products as kiters, is when guys like Dimitri and his guys are thinking outside the box and pushing things. I love their bag. The one whole section of the bottom is mesh. If you live someplace like we do, where everything we've got is wrapped in fine sand.
The bag was nice.
The bag was awesome because it got sand in there. It dumped it right out. It was nice. The construction, just the fit of the bag was nice. And I understand people are not buying kites because of the bags, but that's something worth noting when somebody gets that right. Also, didn't like the ball valve on the inflate on the leading edge. Was like the same exact valve I had on the very first two-line kite that I had, and never once during any of my sessions to pump that up did that ball valve ever stop it. So it was like back to the old days of trying to pop the pump out and quick put a thumb over it. So that's not a major problem to have to fix, but it's definitely annoying, and I know that I'm sure that Dimitri and his guys are going to make something better out of that in the end.
So I guess it's a good kite, definitely in its wind range.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit more than the other kites that we flew. So you need a little bit more wind for it. The bar, keep working on it. Just keep working on the bar and get the quality control under control. We should be fine.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's about all we have. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate everything, and have a great day.